stay fly.
All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favorite host, Adrian Nyce. We're back with another episode of Mouthin Out. Who am I here with right now?
You're here with the Princess of Charlotte, Levi Darosa.
The Princess of Charlotte.
Yes.
In the building.
In the building.
How you feeling?
Alive and in the flesh.
Yes.
I feel good.
Yes.
I feel good.
Okay.
You know, every day to wake up is a blessing. So I don't have any complaints. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yes, no, I'm glad you joined me. I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoy having just different people on to tell their story.
Yeah.
To tell their story. We want to know like where you came from. We want to know what you're doing now. We want to know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. So to start off, let's kind of just break down just like a basic short version of who you are, what you do, to kind of catch our audience up to speed.
Yeah, so where I'm from, I was originally born in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
But my mom moved me and my older 4 siblings here way early on. I had to be maybe like 4 or 5 years old when I got to Charlotte. And I was raised here ever since. On the south side, I've been on the west side.
Wow.
Shout out to Johnson C. Smith.
All around.
Shout out to Northwest School of the Arts. Graduated from Vance.
Okay.
And, you know, shout out to them too. And went on to, you know, get my real estate license. Started to intern for Charlotte Fashion Week as a teenager. So I was the youngest vice president of public relations and marketing back then.
Okay.
Branched out, started my own nonprofit organization called Socialite Charlotte. So we help stimulate revenue in Charlotte's creative community. And I know y'all are hip. If you're not hip to Queen Sophia Charlotte, that Charlotte was named after, we host the Queen Charlotte's Ball in honor of her. So this year will be our 5th annual. And aside from, you know, all of the corporate things that I do creatively, y'all know me as an R&B princess of Charlotte, singer, songwriter, producer. Award-winning artist, just graced the cover of Street Money magazine. I could roll out the red carpet.
Soon to be hosting award shows.
Crazy. Reality series on the way that I'm working on called The Real Socialites of Charlotte. So just putting on for Charlotte and letting people know, you know, how we get down, you know?
So you're really just in it all, have your hands in it all. Like, dang, that's crazy. You just listed like, do you ever get like overwhelmed with balancing it out, especially the corporate and creative side and, you know, family and everything else, relationships? Like, do you ever get overwhelmed or how do you balance it?
People ask me that and I honestly don't get overwhelmed.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just because I feel like it's by design that I can even do all of these things,
right?
You know, and I feel like people are just, some of us are multi-talented, some of us are multifaceted, and it's something that in the past people will make you feel like, oh, you know, you can't be a jack of all trades because then you're going to master none of them.
Right.
But what if you're a jack of all trades and you master each and everything that you put your mind to? And then I just go on to the next best thing. But I tell people all the time, you know, one hand washes the other.
Gotcha.
I've always been the best of both worlds, you know, and I want to bridge that gap and I want to show people that it can be done. You can balance family, you can balance work, but it's always by the grace of God. If I didn't get my strength from the Most High, it would be difficult, but I'm pulling from that strength, so I feel like it's a smooth ride. But it's challenges too. We can get into those challenges. We're gonna get into those challenges. But
so you said you were born in Jacksonville?
In Jacksonville, Florida. And Duval County.
It's popping over there.
It does get popping.
When did you so when you moved out of there, you came straight to this area?
Yeah, we came straight to Charlotte, North Carolina on the south side.
And how old were you?
I want to say it was in 1998. I believe. And like I said, I may have been like five.
Okay. And so you were raised here?
Yeah, raised.
Okay. What do you think about Charlotte from, I guess, back then to where it is now?
Oh my gosh, I've always loved Charlotte. It's all I know.
Yeah.
You know, my older brothers and sisters, they know Jacksonville. I know of Jacksonville because I was there and I went back there often.
Right.
But as far as Charlotte goes, Charlotte has always been good to me.
Okay.
I've never really had any trouble here. Charlotte is one of those places I feel like you're not going to get into a lot of mess in Charlotte unless you go looking for it. Like, the trouble is not going to come knocking at your door a lot of the time. So Charlotte has been good to me and my family. And so in turn, I've been good to Charlotte.
Right. And so you said you're on the corporate side, but you're also on the creative side. You do music.
Of course.
As far as when it comes to the music scene, what have you seen as far as the growth?
Yeah.
With your music and with Charlotte growing too.
So I started releasing music back in 2018. And I'll be honest, when I first started doing it, I've always done music course. I love musicals. I love theater. I mean, I went to a school of the arts, so Phantom of the Opera. That's my thing. So I've always had a voice, and I thank my mom for that. And so I was going through some challenges in my life around that time, and I turned to music. It was always my first love. And I ain't gonna lie, I went on YouTube. I started listening to the YouTube beats. I started getting inspired. And that's when I wrote my first record called West Side. Then I wrote Green Light. And this was just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I can listen to a beat and literally just create the song. I've never put a pen to paper to write any of my records.
And so just so they're cleared up, are you rapping? Are you singing? Is it a mixture of both? Is it melodic? Is it kind of like break down your sound?
So my sound is R&B soul. But it's funny because I started freestyling before I started singing. I can freestyle.
Okay.
So that's where I feel like coming off the top of my head is so influential to my process.
And that's different because you said R&B soul. So you would think like, okay, she's in there writing the songs or whatever. But if you are able to like come off the top and then have it still be like meaningful or soulful, I guess, however you want to put it. That's dope.
Yeah. And so to your point, it is melodic. You know, it is very gospel. I grew up on gospel music. I love gospel music. I don't even have to go to church on a regular basis to love it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I have a whole playlist. And so it's definitely influenced by gospel.
Okay.
But I also just ventured into rapping.
Yeah.
And producing. So I just my first beat that I ever made is called Price of Fame. And it is phenomenal. And I'm not saying that just because I made it. I'm not saying that because I made it, y'all. But I love the entire process of it. So, and I feel like I've made history as the first female artist to produce the record, rap on the record, and sing on the record. So I'm getting ready to release that. So I'm just here to break records and do my thing. I do everything.
What made you like? Because that's I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot. It's not, or I guess it just takes different talents. You know, producing, engineering it, and then singing on it, rapping on it, and then then you releasing it. Wow, that's interesting. But also amazing. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? You said this is gonna be your first record.
This is the first record, Price of Fame, and like I said, do you know any females that have produced, rapped, and sung on a record? All three of those things.
I know artists that do it, but I don't think they're releasing their records and actually like confidently pushing it, if that makes sense. Like I know a bunch of people, they make like demos or ideas, however you want to put it, but not like
standing on business.
Standing on it. That's a great way to put it.
And that's one thing about me. I stand on business about my records, and you don't have to like it or love it. Although I haven't had no real complaints.
Yeah.
But I make music for me first. And if it sounds good to my ears, I grew up playing the flute. I grew up in the band. So I do feel like I have an ear for music. Yeah. So I can even listen to other people's records and be like, that's the one, or that's the one, or you need to go back to the drawing board on that. But when I create my songs, I make it for me first. Because I'm like, I know if I like it, somebody gonna like it. So I stand on business behind my songs. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna get to some your other records.
Yes.
And everything else you're doing in the music world, some events coming up, all of that type of stuff.
Sure.
We'll be right back. All right, we are back from commercial break. So when we got done talking, we were talking about your track that's getting ready to be released.
Yes, Price of Fame.
When does it come out?
Price of Fame. It'll probably, as a matter of fact, it's already out.
Oh, y'all can go check it out.
It's already out. Y'all can go check it out. I know, because when you're an independent artist and you want to be like, oh, the song is going to be out by this time, but the song is already out. So by the time I'm talking about it, go listen to it.
Yeah, go check it out.
It's out.
Do you have any goals for this record? Like, whether it's a numerical goal, like I need this many views, or is it just I need these people overseas to hear it, or just like any type of goal?
Yeah. For me, the goal with that record, I want to say, is impact more than anything.
Yeah.
Because the song is called Price of Fame, and it was crazy because it got released around the time when Angie Stone passed. And, all the controversy surrounding people's mindsets towards the industry and the things that happens. And so in the hook, I'm more so saying, like, the price of fame we'll never know. And that's a very true statement, because a lot of us, we want to pursue our music careers. We want to get in the industry, but there's a price that comes with that.
Yes.
And I don't care if if you think you're the smartest person in the world, you don't know what price you're going to pay for it.
That is true.
And when I started flowing off the record, my impact, like you said, I want to, for one, influence more female MCs to actually say something that people can grasp. I don't even, like I said, I didn't lead with being a rapper, but I can do it, and I do it because I want to be in that space of, if somebody is listening to a female rapper, I'm saying something. I'm talking about the world. I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about, just how I want to be great. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying something in these records. So when it comes to answering your question, it's substance. And I think, like, females, we have a responsibility to give substance, because, as much as you may not want to be a role model, you naturally become that.
Right. So how do you feel about a larger percent of the female MCs right now? Do you feel like they're giving substance in their records, or do you not feel like they're giving substance? Or
I feel like,
and we're talking about the predominant mainstream ones.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
I feel like, in my humble opinion, it's not the substance that I need. And it may be a demographic thing. It may be because of where I am in my life, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. It's not my level of substance. Maybe does it feed their audience? Does it do something for their fans? Yeah, because they have a fan base. Somebody's listening to it.
But you also said something interesting, as far as, like, even if you don't want to be a role model, you're still in that limelight. People are still looking up to you regardless or whatnot. So that was just interesting that you said that.
Because it's true. It's true. I don't care if anybody say, oh, I didn't ask to be a role model. At the end of the day, that's what you are. It's a responsibility, but that's why, like I said, I don't try to change people or put them in a category. I just always lead with being the change I want to see.
For sure.
And that's just what I stick to.
I like it. I hope y'all like it too. I like it. Okay, and that's Price of Fame.
Yes.
And so we also got another record that's on Power 98. Is it
1995?
Okay, just making sure. Talk about that.
That one is crazy. And I wrote 1995, I want to say, a few years back.
Okay.
And yeah, shout out to Power 98. That's our biggest hip hop and R&B station. So shout out to them. They really been spinning the records, bro. I'll just be minding my business, and somebody will literally be like, "Oh, your song is playing." And so that's crazy. I feel like I'm in Motown, the Temptations, and you hear the song on the radio for the first time, and you're like, "That's me." But it's been that record has really opened a lot of doors for me. We were talking about me opening at the Ovens Auditorium on April 11th. the person who was over that process, who got me in that door, he liked that record a lot. You know, so shout out to Frankie Farr Entertainment.
Who'd you open for?
I opened up for Genuine, Donnell Jones, Cut Close, and Adina Howard.
That's crazy.
A fire lineup.
Yes.
And not to mention, they trusted in my artistry so much. They had never had an opening act for any of their shows. And
really?
I took that.
What? That means something. Like, I would just hear that and I'd be like, oh, they want me? Man, God, this is blessing. I must be doing something right.
Blessings on
I
blessings.
must be doing something right. That's
the
amazing.
First time they've had an opener, so we made history that night.
So I can imagine the crowd was
it
big.
was a sold out show. It was a sold out show.
Were you nervous? What's your thought process?
Going into something like that? Oh my gosh. I still do get nervous. I still do. Just because every experience is a new experience.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like when something is your destiny, you just show up and you perform. And when I get on that stage, it becomes natural for me. I feel like I'm a natural born entertainer. I've always felt like I was a natural born leader. So, you know, you just get on that stage, you make the people pay attention, you bring them into your world. I know a lot of artists, they want to get out here and they want to, the key is not to force yourself on your audience, but to invite your audience into your world. And I do that every time.
That's dope. That's a great way to look at it. Like, I'm not making y'all, I don't want to make y'all listen to what I got going on or force my ideas, whatever it is. But if y'all want to come.
If you want to come into my world.
Come on. Sit down with me. Enjoy it. Okay. Did you get to meet any of the people you opened up for?
The people in passing. We were all backstage. And, you know, I know that they have certain things that they got, you know, scheduling and stuff like that. But, you know, in passing, we were all back there. I ran into Olympia D from 105.3 here in Charlotte. So that was cool. But overall, you know, you just, you know, you're not back there being a groupie.
No.
You just.
And it's always, and that's kind of weird to me too, because it's like you're up and coming artist. For me, it's like a media person. And it's always that thin line between like, do I ask for a picture or do I just say, hey, or, you know, no, I'm going to play it cool. I don't want them to look at me as a groupie or whatever the case may be.
I realize, you know, very, very professional. We're all human beings at the same time. And I know that these people get treated like royalty already from their fans.
Yeah, pedestal.
And to be honest, I think it helps sometimes when they can be made to feel human. When they're around other people that's like, I see you as a person. Right. You know, and I ain't gonna, you know, I ain't gonna bother you too much.
Right, exactly. They can just chill.
We can chill. We can chill. So yeah. But that was a monumental experience. My mom was able to come out.
That's dope.
And that was my debut, like on a big stage.
That's so dope. That's so dope.
So I'm just putting on for Charlotte.
How many people you think was in the audience?
I looked up the capacity.
Oh, shit. Okay, what was it?
I want to say it had to be like 2,500 people. It was a sold out show. It was a sold out show, and I, you know, it did get sold out after I got added as an opener. So you know, it could be.
That's the icing on the cake. The icing on the cherry on the top.
That was the icing on the cake. So yeah, it was fire though. But they did a great job bringing the city out. So
okay, and so. I can't remember, you know, you fill me in, but you're working with Mary Mac.
Yes.
And other people, right?
Killer Breezy.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Let's get into it. So I told you I am hosting the 704 Hip Hop Awards this year. So that's coming up on June 22nd.
June 22nd.
It's a fire lineup.
2 months.
So mark your calendars because when I host, I'm telling you, any and everything I touch turns to gold.
I love it.
It just does. And so we talked about producing.
Right.
I produced another record called Welcome to the Carolinas. And
so it's kind of like an anthem.
An anthem, song. Yeah. So it's crazy because when I hear the beat, I just start flowing. And two of the artists that I mentioned, just off the top, not even trying to, was Killer Breezy and Mary Mac.
Mary Mac.
I met Killer Breezy. We were actually both on the opposite covers of Street Money magazine. I was on the front cover. She was on the back. And then her copy. She's on the front and I'm on the back. I never met her before. We met at the launch and she was just cool. It was just the vibe was what it needed to be, So when I wrote the record, I was like, I rap, she raps. Mary Mack is featured in the magazine. Yeah. I've heard her record.
Who is dope. Yeah.
She's dope. I've heard her record on Power 98 as well. So shout out to her for doing her thing. And I was like, I just want to get us all on the record together. So it is. We went to Audio Box the other day, the world famous Audio Box, the world famous, and we're starting to work on the record. And I plan on opening the show, the award show, with that record.
Ooh,
so
it's gonna be fire.
It's gonna be fire. I really want to bring the city out for real because I don't know if a lot of people noticed, but last year I was able to go to the BET Awards last year and the NAACP Image Awards.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there and I'm seeing the production.
Yeah, you see how it is.
And I'm seeing how it is in real time. And I was like, I want to bring that energy back to the Queen City. Yes. So when we're talking about an award show, it needs to feel like an award show. It needs to open like an award show. And we actually got to put good people on that stage. Right. So I'm happy that he included me. Yeah. Because, I only want the best of the best. I want people to really, not because it's your friend, not because it's your cousin, but because it's an artist that's right there on the cusp and they dope.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said that. Like, I definitely think that people, artists, whoever in the creative field, need to travel other places, whether it be Atlanta, New York, or LA. People who are like already killing it in the industry. But when they see what they're doing, and they're going to come back themselves, bring some of that back.
Bring it back.
Because it is some people that ain't never been outside of the state or whoever, but they just don't know. But you have seen that. Yeah. You can put the flavor on it.
Put the flavor on it.
And take it to that next level. Yeah. Our industry.
Yeah. Because I believe in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I know you do too, because you wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you didn't believe in us, right? And there's a lot of potential here, and I just think, like you said, we just need that blueprint.
Yeah.
We just need to know how to do it, how to sustain it, how to maintain it, and continue to come together.
All right. We're going to take our last commercial break.
Okay.
And when we get back, we're going to just talk about any other things that are coming up. Maybe some
the
music.
Juicy details.
Yes, that you're planning on in the future. And then I got a couple more questions and we'll be gone.
Facts.
Okay? We'll be back right after this.
We'll be back.
All right. We are back from our last commercial break. So, okay. So we just got talking about your music.
Yes.
Your come up. We got talking about some records that are being spent. It's about to be released.
Right.
Is there any like upcoming shows, other shows, or maybe have you been planning like an EP, album, mixtape, or anything? Any other things coming up?
Yeah. So I do have a project that I'm working on called The Roza Effect. And, me being Levi, Darosa, the Darosa part for me, it means of the rose. And so the project is just inspired by, like I said, letting people get to know who I am. Like when you listen to these records, it's not, every little word is my life, but it's about getting to know me.
Yeah.
So that project is coming out, The Rose Effect. I plan on releasing a British-inspired project, which is going to be crazy.
So you're switching up your accent?
I'm switching up for sure. So the project is called... See, I can't even get out of it sometimes. The project is called Passport to London. Okay. And it's actually a joint project with an artist named Cutterman 100 Grand. But it's a joint project. And I'm getting into rock and rap. And I grew up on all of that.
Yeah.
So... I'm getting into Passport to London. That's going to be coming out, I want to say, for the summertime. And then, what else is coming out? I'm a little unorthodox with my music. You just really gotta stay in tune with what I'm doing. Because I feel like during certain times in my life, some records are more appropriate to release than others. So I try not to be like, put myself in a box.
How can they stay tapped in with you?
Yeah.
How can they keep up with what you have going on?
Oh, yeah. On all my social media. The main thing is the reality series page that I have. So the Real Socialites of Charlotte, that's being filmed right now, and it's following like me, my company, my music. Y'all can follow the page right now. It is private, but that's because, you know, people just love to be, they just love to get in there, and I'm building it. The friend request though, it will all be accepted, but the show is coming out, and I want people to get excited about that, especially Charlotte, because I feel like we don't have any reality series that's like been it for real.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. The closest thing to one was probably like the Real Side Chicks of Charlotte,
right? Which is crazy.
Yeah,
which is crazy. We don't stand for that. We don't stand for that.
Exactly. We need some other representation of what Charlotte is.
Of what Charlotte is, you know? And that's what the show is. And so Charlotte just gets a bad rep for stuff, but I think it's because we're so content in who we are.
Right.
We know what Charlotte is, but I think we're at that point now where it's like it has to be shown.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people are putting their narrative
to take it to the next level.
To put on the next level, and people are putting their narrative on us.
Yeah,
and it's like we know our city better than
right.
You, and you. You just got here. You ain't from here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're going to tell you what we do and who we are.
Right.
So that's why I was glad me and you got a chance to do this and chop it up, because it's just another bridge that just got, you know, created between us. And so between the show, the music, working on some children's books, it's a lot. Y'all gotta stay
tapped in.
Y'all gotta stay tapped in and expect the show. I do have a performance coming up on Juneteenth.
Okay.
In I think that's in Anson County.
And then what? Anson County, Juneteenth. What is that? That's the 18th, right?
On the 19th.
Oh, the 19th. I think one of them.
It's on the 19th. He don't know his Black history. We're gonna pull his black card.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I know it's 18th or 19th.
He said it's 18th or 19th.
It's that weekend.
It's that week. Matter of fact, it's the whole weekend. We can celebrate the whole weekend. We deserve that. So Juneteenth is my next big performance in Anson County. But right now I'm just filming the show. Like, we are filming currently.
Nice.
In and around the city. So if you see the cameras out, you see me, you see my team, like we're ready to represent. So
right. And then before we go, we'll just leave with one piece of advice. All my guests, I just have them give one piece of advice to the audience. It could be to other up and coming female artists, or it could be to people of North Carolina, just whoever you want to give one to.
Oh, wow. I want to say this message is for the world.
Okay.
At this point.
There we go.
You know, I feel like we're at a point where we need to recenter God in the midst of everything that we do, because at this point, if God is not in your life, there's no direction. There's no leader there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people got to get back to morals and integrity. And, you know, what does that look like to create a positive society? You know, I feel like people want to live for now, but they're not thinking about the world that we're creating for later. Right. The children that have to grow up. Right. You know, even if you don't have children, I'm sure you have nieces and nephews. I mean, they are our future. The things that we support today is the world that they have to live in tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not to be perfect, but be purposeful. Mm-hmm. You know, sit with yourself, sit with your family, your friends. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Mm-hmm. You know, wake up and give thanks every day, you know, and do whatever you put your mind to, but make sure it's impactful. It ain't got to be about the money. It ain't got to be about the bag. It ain't got to be about the numbers. It's got to be about integrity. And I want people to value those things again, you know, because that's what's going to keep the world going for the next 1,000 years.
There you're right. Hope y'all taking it in.
Take it in.
Taking it in. I'm sitting here like, yo, she's right.
Take it in.
I'm taking it in myself, so I hope y'all taking it in.
Take it in,
Any last words you want to say? Anything else?
Yeah, I want to just say, you know, thank you to everybody that has been supporting me thus far. Thank you to my mom, of course, my family, every person that's listened to my records. Mm-hmm. Every person ain't been a hater.
Mm-hmm. They are out there.
Because the haters is out there.
For sure.
You know, and stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more.
Yes.
Like I said, I am the princess of Charlotte. And when I say that, I mean that. I stand on that. And I'm going to continue to be a good representation of that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Social media one more time.
Social media is Levi Darosa Official on everything.
There we go.
So go check it out.
I'm your host, Adrian Nyce. This is Mouthin Out.
He was wonderful.
We are out. Peace.
Salute.